All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Beyond the Buzz, Finding AI Opportunities that Deliver Real Results. Before we get started, I just want to mention that some of the things talked about today might involve looking to forward-thinking or future-thinking concepts. Things could always change, so consider this presentation as a friendly guidance to help you understand artificial intelligence better. My goal is to make AI less mysterious and show you practical ways that might help you today. Any decisions you make, of course, are completely up to you. Hi, I'm Joe Malowicki, the CEO of IARC Solutions, and I'm really excited to be here with you today to talk about artificial intelligence. A little bit about me. I've been working in the technology field for over 30 years now and hold multiple certifications as a cloud architect and AI professional. As I mentioned before, all that means is not only am I the biggest nerd in the room right now, but I spend a lot of time learning about how artificial intelligence can benefit different types of businesses and different use cases. Today, my goal is pretty simple. It's to help share some of the basics of artificial intelligence and make it relevant to you and your everyday organizations and jobs. Whether you're just curious about artificial intelligence or thinking about how it could help in real life business scenarios. Throughout our session today, I'll try to share some examples and strategies that you can take away with, whether you're new to artificial intelligence or already exploring its potential internally. A quick side note, if you're brand new to AI or looking for a quick refresher, feel free to check out our website or our YouTube channel and watch our previous session, Demystifying AI, How to Implement Artificial Intelligence in Your Business. So now let's dive into this journey. Fast background about IARC Solutions. IARC Solutions is a full-service consulting firm. We focus on helping businesses leverage AI, cloud computing, financial services, software, and support solutions, and more. We pride ourselves on being available 24/7 for our customers with a team that's entirely onshore, meaning you're working with certified architects and engineers right here at home. With hundreds of successful implementations under our belt, from on-premises setups to cloud migrations to business process automation, as well as new technology adoption projects, our team has a strong track record of delivering results. This means we have experience helping businesses of all types and sizes, truly making complex technology transformations and transitions. And hopefully all successfully. Okay, so whether it's AI solutioning, cloud architecture, or EPM type work, or of course full service day two support services, we're always here to help your business, your organization in making these shifts effectively and confidently. We're also proud to partner with a lot of clients across almost every industry and vertical in both public and private sectors. This diversity over the years lets us bring best practices and tailor solutions for each unique project we're working on. We work with partners like Oracle, IBM, Deloitte, and so on. This helps us stay at the forefront of things artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and of course, financial services software. And it always helps us to deliver the latest innovations to our customers. Okay, so enough of the commercials. Let's dive into why we're here today. Okay, so let's first set the stage. Artificial intelligence is helping businesses save time. Okay, it helps to automate things like repetitive tasks. It's turning mountains of data into clear and actionable insights and information that helps all business leaders in all different realms make smarter, faster decisions about their organization and business. Okay. Think of it like having your own business. I'm sorry. Think about your own business for a minute here. What's one task that takes up too much time or feels repetitive? Imagine if you could automate that task, right? Free up yourself or your team for much, much higher value work. That's where AI comes into play. AI has become a lot more accessible and affordable. Literally month to month to month, it gets more adoptable, more available to the masses. It becomes a valuable resource to businesses of all sizes and capacities. And here's the cool thing, here's the key about it. It's not just about jumping on a trend. AI is here, it's not going away. It's like the next iPhone, it's the next computer. It's all about solving real world problems that impact your operations bottom line. Let me ask you folks this. Do you guys feel like, or do you folks feel like your competitors are getting ahead, or departments even as competitors are getting ahead using different tools you haven't explored yet? Well, what is stopping you? Is it the time? Is it the cost? Not knowing where to start? Hopefully we're going to answer some of those questions today, and that's exactly why we're here. You don't need to guess where AI can help you or how to start. I'm going to provide you folks some simple, hopefully simple, repeatable frameworks and steps to help you identify your own opportunities, evaluate them, prioritize them, the right ones, and then deliver them and have you go live with an actual pilot process. Sorry about that. No problem here. So we've talked about why AI matters a bit. Okay. Let's look at also what it can actually do for you and your business. Right. Artificial intelligence, as I mentioned, it's a very powerful set of tools or tool. It can address a variety of changes, no matter the industry or size of your organization. Again, for example, AI can save you time by automating a lot of repetitive tasks, things like scheduling meetings, answering common customer questions or internal departmental questions. It can also help boost revenue by personalizing recommendations for you or your customers. It can even help you optimize things like pricing strategies or doing analysis on your actual data set, financial or otherwise. Beyond that, artificial intelligence can also help improve the quality in day-to-day operations. Think about predicting maintenance needs before equipment breaks down or catching early errors early in your processes. It also things like supporting better decision making and analyzing mountains of data to help you uncover trends that maybe you might otherwise have missed. Take a moment to think about your own business, your own job, your own stuff, your own life, if you will. What's one area, personal or business professional, where you'd love to save some time, maybe boost some revenue, improve quality, offload some mundane tasks? An artificial intelligence solution might just be the way to tackle that challenge. With all these possibilities, the really big question is, how do you find the right AI opportunity for your business or your problem? And that's where our framework comes in. So now let's kind of walk through it step by step. We've seen what AI can do. You've heard about it. You've read about it. You've maybe seen webinars from myself or other folks. But the real challenge for most people is figuring out where to start. Okay, that's where our implementation playbook, if you want to call it that, comes in. It's a simple, repeatable framework that's going to help guide you through that process, no matter how big or small or whatever use case you have in mind. There's 4 key steps to our framework. First one is step 1, identifying opportunities. This is about pinpointing tasks and processes where AI can make a difference. Think about inefficiencies, repetitive work, areas where better decisions could drive bigger results for you. The next step is evaluating feasibility, right? We assess whether the opportunity is realistic or not. Do you have the data? Are the tools available? Or would this require something like a more complex custom approach to solve the problem? The next step, third step, is prioritize initiatives. Not all AI ideas are created equal, and to be honest, not all of them are good either, okay? So we focus on the ones that deliver the highest impact and results with the least amount of risks. That's a very, very crucial part of this framework. The final step is pilot and scale. What this means is you want to start small, be able to measure your success and expand what works or doesn't work, remove those things to help minimize risks while maximizing your results. By the end of today's session, hopefully you'll understand how to apply this framework to your own business, or at least get the wheels turning a bit, okay? So that you can begin leveraging AI and taking it from an abstract concept, hopefully into beginning of a clear, actionable plan for yourself. Digging in. So the first step in the framework is about finding the right opportunities for artificial intelligence. As I noted, not every task or process is a good fit. So this is where we start identifying the best places to apply AI in your business. And I'll sort of give you some scenarios or some suggestions and ideas of things to think about. The process or step is pretty simple, right? The first thing is to look at what's manual and repetitive. Those are great areas, so manual repetitive tasks that consume a lot of your time but don't require much creativity or judgment. I don't want to say intelligence because that's a whole different story, but think about things like data entry, scheduling of appointments, processing invoice, maybe professionalizing, personalizing email blasts, right? These are great tasks that are ideal for an automation AI solution. There's also things that are, say, data heavy decision points, right? This is an area to also consider. Just like above, are there certain things you do in your business, processes and whatnot, where you need to analyze large amounts of data to make decisions? People can do this. We can analyze. We have tools like spreadsheets and Excel, Smartsheet, and project plans. Artificial can do it exponentially faster when it becomes to large data sets. So some examples might include forecasting demand for inventory, generating reports, AI truly does do this a lot faster and a lot more accurate than most people can. So it's a great tool if you have data heavy decision points you have to work with. Another component is looking at customer facing workflows. Stuff like responding to FAQs, routing support tickets, again, personalizing communication recommendations, social media outreach, and marketing. Artificial intelligence can really help improve both the speed and overall customer experience by giving you a nice, consistent look, nice, consistent response. Again, there's no emotion behind it. It actually lets you develop and build your processes to respond as you have to respond, route as you need to have things routed. It follows the rules you provide it. Okay. So a trick that I often use or personally use when it comes to artificial intelligence is I think about the tasks to be black and white that I avoid doing or dislike doing. Okay. Things I just can't stand doing, but are part of my job. They're usually repetitive tasks, very time consuming. These are prime candidates for an AI solution. Asking my employees, I am now the master of using ChatGPT when it comes to email rewriting. I don't even spell check half the time anymore. It's that bad, but good and bad. Okay. So take a moment, each of you, to think about a process in your own company, own life, own daily routine that feels manual, that feels slow, feels frustrating. Once you have one, keep that in the back of your mind as we move forward through this framework. Once you identified the potential A opportunity, which was step one, you have a bunch of opportunities, right? The next step is to evaluate those opportunities, to consider are they realistic to pursue or not. Not every task is, quite frankly, ready for artificial intelligence yet, or based upon your system's technology and experience. So this step helps you to focus on initiatives with the best chance of success for your organization. And just define this organization could be company, could be departmental, could be personal, right? All these things in my mind are your organization. It's your particular silo, if you will. So the first thing to consider is data readiness. So no matter what you're doing, artificial intelligence relies upon data to function. That's the black and white. Without data, there's no functionality behind it. Okay, so you need to already, the questions to ask yourself are for your particular opportunities. You may have one or two things identified in the previous step. Do you have the data needed to improve those processes? Or can you collect it without too much effort? Because frankly, we're starting out here with the framework, right? If you were doing a chatbot as an example, you have to think about, do we have past customer questions and responses or support logs that we can use to train our AI system or to be leveraged as data source for our AI system? You also want to think about the technical complexity as you're going through this step two, evaluating the feasibility of each of those AI opportunities. A really easy way to decide is to think about how unique is your task, right? If it's a common thing like a chatbot or scheduling type of a task or solution, plenty of off-the-shelf, ready-made tools you can quickly deploy as long as you have data. Think of these as like plug and play type solutions, almost batteries included. You add your data, turn it on, you're ready to rock and roll. And we'll talk more about those in a bit. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, is what I'm getting at. So as you've identified your opportunity and you've confirmed that the state of data readiness for the opportunity, and you've considered how complex is it or not, the next component is thinking about, okay, well, what if it's a specific process for my business, right? We don't have tools to solve this. Doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you might have to use something like a custom AI solution that might be worth considering. Okay, custom solutions are phenomenal. They take more time and typically more resources, but they're tailored to your exact needs. I often tell my customers, don't think about a custom solution as the first time you're doing something. Think small potatoes, right? Think small, just to get your head around this whole process. And that's what we kind of build our framework on. But also don't discount something which might be customized for your business, because maybe that is the right way to start your process, right? The last piece is you want to consider whether the solution is going to deliver real benefits for you, your organization, department, and so on. Focus on tasks as you're doing this evaluation of feasibility where artificial intelligence can save you time, reduce costs, improve customer satisfaction, make you happier, right? Make sure there's a real benefit for doing this. Don't just do it to do it, okay? A chatbot, again, it answers FAQs, could free up hours from support team's time every day. It also helps customers get faster responses if done properly. Think back to the task you identified in step one and ask yourself, do we already have the data needed to support this task? Is this a common problem with an existing solution or something we have to unique to our business to build or buy? And step three, most importantly, what impact will it have on solving this task, right? On our business. It's going to save us time, costs, money, customer sat improvement, and so on. And that's step two of our framework. Third step of the framework, it's prioritization of initiatives, right? Fancy. Well, all that really means is you've identified some opportunities, you evaluated their feasibility and kind of rated that yourself, right? And the next thing is you got to prioritize them. Maybe you have two or three that are pretty good opportunities and they're pretty feasible. Where do you start? You pick one at a time. Not all AI ideas will deliver the same value. So this step ensures you're going to focus on the primary initiative that's going to make the biggest impact with the least amount of risk to start with. So when you prioritize, consider things like the overall business impact. Is it going to save me time, reduce costs, improve customer sat? Is it feasible? Once again, it may be feasible of an idea, but is it feasible in terms of, is it realistic to implement this opportunity now, given what we have for data tools and resources currently at our disposal, right? A little overlap in the last step, I know. Finally, is the alignment with your corporate goals or strategy. Does this initiative align with what we're trying to do as an organization, right, for our overall strategy, or does it address a particular pain point in your organization? That's also a great reason to consider it. So think of this step as like a filtering process. After you've found ideas, step one, you evaluate to make sure they're possible. Step two, this is, all right, we got to pick one to start with. This is our filtering step. Start with the opportunities that are easiest to implement and provide the clearest, quickest benefits. Once you've proven success with this process, you can always move on to more complex projects. Again, starting out in the framework. It's adaptable for big or small. Talk about a scenario here. Let's say you've identified a few different AI opportunities in customer service, marketing, inventory management. Customer service might be a quick win if you've already have a data implement a chatbot as an example. On the other hand, inventory optimization might require a deeper dive into your systems, possibly a custom solution. So you can decide in this step with your prioritization is what's the most bang for the buck, what's going to get us the best result we need based upon those criteria, goal alignment, business impact, and so on. And you make a decision. Maybe you do decide that, you know what, let's go chatbot first, build momentum, get some good results, learn how this process works, and then we can scale from there. All right, so that's step three, which is all about prioritizing those initiatives. Now, once you've done that and you prioritize them, we move on to the final step of our framework, step four, which is talking about actually rolling this out, right? And we call this the pilot and scale framework step. We've prioritized the opportunities. We have to turn that thing, the idea now into action. And this starts by piloting one of your quick wins or strategic goals with artificial intelligence. You can test out its impact before rolling it out more broadly or other initiatives. Now, backing the bus up for a couple seconds here. If you've never run a pilot before or heard that term before, just think of like a trial run within your organization. It's about starting small, focusing on a single item, workflow, or product line as an example. The goal here isn't to get everything perfect all at once, but to see what's actually working for you or not working for you, what does and doesn't work, and gather data that proves the solution's viable and has value, as well as ultimately, in my mind, the first time you do this, help you to optimize your deployment process so you can do this again and it's repeatable down the road. You first have to choose the opportunity to pilot, right? Hopefully the first three steps have given you, hey, here's the idea you want to go with now. Fantastic. Start small, keep the scope manageable. I'm going to use a chatbot as a common theme throughout this because most of us have experienced chatbots before, working with banks or whatever customer service things. If you're implementing a chatbot, again, as an example, start with FAQs, maybe for one product or service line. Don't try to go full Monty here, pulling everything you have for your entire support database and client history. Start one product, one solution, one typical item that you can build again your model out with. That's the pilot. It's super, super important is to gather your metrics, figure out a way you can measure the success or failure of this pilot program. Look at things like time saved, cost reductions, improvements in customer sat, improvements in giving you more time in your day, right? If your new theoretical chatbot reduces response times by 50%, fantastic, it's worth scaling up. If it doesn't, or if you get bad surveys from your customers as you reach out to them, part of the guided metrics process here, you might want to redefine that or rethink about that before you scale it up, maybe tweaking that process. The last piece of this pilot step in the framework four step, it's the upscaling, pardon my French. It's about once you've proven the value in one area, expand it to other workflows or departments in your organization. Use your lessons learned from your pilot to refine and improve this implementation process, generally speaking. You've proved the chatbot is valuable for FAQ distribution. Maybe now expand it to handle other things like customer order inquiries or product lines. You've used that knowledge you built already to scale this thing up. This sounds like a lot, and it sounds very theoretical because we're talking over a webinar right now, not face to face with a whiteboard in a room. And I appreciate the pain that might sound like, and I appreciate time to listen to me here. But I want to reassure you that starting with a pilot, even though it feels like it's a big step, it's really not that bad. If it's your first time, especially, and you have some apprehension, reach out to us. Ping us. You're not alone in this process, right? The good news is you don't have to go at this alone. There's tons of things online, YouTube videos. You can chat GPT how to do a pilot. It sounds funny saying that using AI for AI purposes. Reach out to myself or my team. We do this all the time for customers. We're always working with pilots and whatnot. We're happy to talk to you about use cases, design considerations, and whatnot, and find something that works for your business. This actually can be fun, believe it or not. And even though I'm a geek, I know it can be fun for everybody. So some real world success stories, if you want to call them that, or use cases of places who have implemented artificial intelligence using either our or a variation of their own framework, right? They went through the same processes. But three cases to talk to you about today or to kind of share with you. And I do have some documentation. Each one of these, if you're interested, let me know. I can forward you over some of the articles and some of the information sources where these came from. But let's talk about Walmart first. Everyone's heard of Walmart. Pretty large, store, okay? But what Walmart did was years ago, they actually leveraged, you folks might remember, they're one of the first companies to begin using RFID technology way back in the day when it first came out. And they mandated everybody up and down the food chain, from manufacturing to distribution to end customer e-commerce facing, had to have RFID tags within their products. Well, what they've done since then is used all that data, all that information for tracking, and they've built an AI system that can actually optimize its supply chain operations. They have one of the most efficient inventory management systems, right? They have phenomenal customer experience from purchase to shipping because of this AI optimized supply chain process, right? And that's led to significant operational gains. And again, I have an article I can share after if you like, talking about some of the revenue improvements they've seen by implementing this AI supply chain system. Next, talk about a mid-sized firm, a law firm, BWV law firm, and what they did for AI within their organization, a little bit different. They actually used this and embraced artificial intelligence to streamline a lot of internal processes they've done. They've done things like improve employee training, to help innovate employees, get them more embraced and involved with projects to increase efficiency, as well as improvements in their overall internal processes. And so it's pretty interesting to sort of read about them and think about how they're using these tools, not for client facing per se, but ultimately translate to client facing. They used it for internal operational, improvements and efficiencies. The last one would be a company called Radfield Home Care. They're actually a care facility for elderly. And what they've done is they've adopted off-the-shelf tools like ChatGPT as one of their primary tools. We use it here as well every day. They've used things like these off-the-shelf tools to improve their marketing and internal HR operations. So they've actually used it for both client-facing scenarios and problems, as well as internal. They use it for marketing, social media, standardization of messages, as well as internal operations for things like documentation libraries, searchable things that they have an internal chat their own internal employees can go through. This has freed up their own employees to focus on what they're best at, personalizing the client care they need to do. So think about this. Which of these examples resonates most with your business challenges? Is it large scale stuff like supply chain, or is it small scale stuff like I just have to do my job more efficient every day, right? And then you think about the fact that no matter which one of these it is, large or small, you still apply the same kind of framework as you're going to go with the implementation process. It just scales in size. I think it's important to share how here at Arc Solutions, we've used this own framework to tackle a very real world problem that we had of our own. Okay. So one of our own challenges. As I mentioned, we're a client-focused based business. We want to always look at ways to improve the efficiency and accuracy of our support processes. Specifically, in doing things like handling response to customers, emails, and whatnot. And I'm not going to toot our horn, but I would like to say that we have all the architects and engineers here. As good as these people are, communication sometimes can lax. Okay, so we're looking at ways of always improving that process. So what we did, and I'll walk you through our steps, our framework process. Step one, identify the opportunities. We discussed our client-facing scenarios, support, project work, billing, marketing, and so on. And we decided that an email ticket response system was a nice, easy, safe way to do a manageable area we could start with, right? We don't have a massive call center at our disposal, so we knew that even a small efficiency improvements in our process could go a very long way for our customers as well as ourselves and enhance their hopeful customer satisfaction, okay, more engagement. We then thought about, okay, cool. We know it'd be cool if we can improve that communication by support for customers. The next thing was step two. Is it feasible? Had to evaluate our feasibility. So we looked at all these different opportunities and we decided that the data we already had was fantastic. We had past tickets, questions that were answered. Nothing private, of course, all public available information, if you will, resolutions, response times, FAQs, knowledge base from our support team, engineering team. A lot of data we've been sitting out here storing that we're like, hey, wow, we have this stuff available to us. Maybe we can leverage this, as our data source, and that was part of our feasibility evaluation. We found our ticketing system also had built-in AI capabilities we weren't using. That was a win-win for us. It's like, they have chatbots and automated responders for tickets. So that made this initiative, this opportunity in particular, we realized it's very feasible. We don't have to put a large pocket investment. We have to just learn how to use the tools they already provided that we're already paying for that weren't enabled. So that was a big win for us as well. It's very common, by the way, out in industry, big and small. A lot of organizations have tools that have built-in AI functionality already in them that just isn't being leveraged yet. Okay, so I encourage you all to look into your tools that you already have as you're going through this 4-step framework process here. So the prioritized initiative stage for us was a little simpler. We had debated whether to start with the AI chatbot for support, for interactive problem solving and resolution, or a different rollout with intelligent email responders, right? Those were our two decisions to make. So we chose the latter. As we realized it's less risky, we could kind of filter it down and keep it a little more centered as far as what the chatbot's doing. That's a little more of a black box, if you will, as opposed to email responders. We knew the logic and chain it was going to leverage. So it was less risky for us and it aligned better with our business since we knew that most of our clients contact us via support. Okay. The final step, step 4, was the pilot and scale stage. So in step 4, what we did was we piloted a solution. We did a beta internally. We reviewed and cleaned up the existing ticket resolutions that we had that made sense to be used by articles, generalized them, right? So they're all not private information anymore. There's nothing proprietary in there. And we formatted them into nice reusable templates. Okay, so then what we did was we turned on this responder agent for a small group internally, test it out. Once we saw it worked pretty efficiently, then we began to roll it out to our wider client base. Now, a lot of our customers never realized we even did this, but what will happen is when they open up a ticket, they might get the bottom of that ticket might say, hey, have you considered A, B, C, and D, right? And if they click on one of those links, it brings them back to our support portal, which is of course marketed by us with our branding and whatnot, gives them the information and a little box. Every one of those solutions says, is this applicable or not? And if you say, no, it's not, it says, do you want to look at maybe this solution? So it's kind of a passive way of offering up additional assistance, right? And meanwhile, on the back end, our support engineers can actually get the ticket, work the issue, do their usual game, but the customer doesn't have to wait, right, for some responses, almost like a self-help kind of a process here. So what's the result? Well, some positive client feedback and improved support accuracy are the two things we got. We did some metrics, we did some monitoring, ticket resolution time seemed to be improving a bit. There were some, like every new system, there were some pain points, some tweaks along the way, making sure shipping the right kind of articles out that are relevant, that customers have access to. If it's a software solution, sometimes they can't do things like restart a server, but the article would say, bounce your server. Well, you can't do that all the time, right? So it took us a little time, a little tweaking, but overall, the process was relatively painless. and the tweaks we had to make weren't that big of a deal. We're already starting to see some improvements in efficiency. Most importantly, we're seeing improvements in the accuracy of the responses coming out. So that example shows you even a small business like IR Solution, we can use AI effectively, right? We can start with manageable steps, which we did, all four of those steps, and then we can scale it gradually as we're doing. And as I mentioned before, if we can do this internally, right, you can do this too. Think about where you might start using this framework in your own business or organization and begin kind of brainstorming some ideas. So, kind of recapping today. Um, we focused on how to move beyond the buzz, okay, in our catchphrase here and turn AI into real business result driven systems. The key takeaways are pretty simple. Artificial intelligence is a tool for solving problems. Start by identifying tasks where AI can add some value. Follow our framework we discussed, identify, evaluate, prioritize, pilot. Think about your own business. What's one task or area you'd love to make faster, easier, offload, or more efficient with AI? Is this something repetitive, time consuming, frustration, or just in my case, boring? Okay. And maybe that's a good way to begin your process. Your next steps are to apply the framework to that particular item, to your business. Start small with manageable pilots and measure success along the way so you can always expand from there as you get better and better at this. This approach minimizes risk while maximizing your impact. And as always, if you're feeling inspired, but you don't know where to start, give us a call, drop us a line, pop us on social media. We're here to help. We'll always post articles, suggestions, use cases. We'll keep doing that. I love doing this personally. So whether you need a quick guidance, identifying some opportunities, need some support with the pilot you're starting but is kind of stalled, or need some help scaling your AI solutions, always feel free to reach out to us. That's what we're here for. Let's work together to make AI a value part of your operation organization. Okay. So as wrapping up, we have a few minutes here left. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to sort of open the forum up. There's an actual Q&A button in the chat. You're welcome to put any questions you have out there. I'll answer those for you as best I can. Anything which does come through, if we're out of time, I'll take them afterward and we'll include those in the wrap up with our video, which we always do with the recording. I just want to thank you again for taking the time to attend today. And hopefully, you enjoy the presentation. I wish you all the best on your journey to conquer artificial intelligence in your organization. So if there's any questions, throw them out there. If not, you guys can escape back to your day jobs and life, and then we'll look forward to next webinar for you. This is an easy one for me today. I'm usually bombarded with questions, so I'll take it. So, all right, give that a couple seconds here, and if not, we will close things up and we'll end our session for today. All right. Well, no Q&A today. Have a great day, folks, and be safe. Happy New Year, everybody. Bye-bye.